In the Bible, we find stories filled with miracles, bravery, and faith that continue to amaze us today. One such story is that of Hannah, the mother of the prophet Samuel, whose unwavering devotion and trust in God led to a profound transformation in her life. Let's delve into this inspiring narrative. Imagine a time when motherhood was highly valued above all else for a woman. To be childless was more than a personal tragedy. It was a disappointment for the family and a source of shame in society. This was the situation facing Hannah, a woman who, despite her beauty and devotion to God, could not bear children. Living in the ancient land of Israel during a time when societal expectations placed immense pressure on women to bear children, Hannah's pain was not just physical but also emotional and social. Her situation caused her great sadness, isolation, and discouragement, feelings that tormented her deeply. The fact that her husband, Elkanah, loved her dearly, and that he also had a son with another of his wives, Peninnah, added another layer of complexity and sorrow to Hannah's life. Each year, during the family's pilgrimage to the sanctuary in Shiloh, where they worshipped God and offered sacrifices, Hannah's suffering became more intense. Amidst the religious festivities and the joy of other families, she felt the full weight of her inability to conceive. Her rival Peninnah took advantage of every opportunity to mock her. Year after year, she taunted Hannah, exacerbating her pain and making her feel inferior. In a culture where motherhood was considered the ultimate fulfillment for a woman, these taunts must have been like daggers piercing Hannah's soul. In the midst of this agonizing situation, Hannah decided to take action. She would go to the house of the Lord in Shiloh, and there, in solitude and deep concentration, she would pour out her heart to God. She approached the altar and prayed fervently, pleading for a son. However, she didn't just ask for any child. She wanted a child who was totally dedicated to God. If God granted her this favor, she promised to dedicate that child to his service for the rest of his life. It was a promise that showed the depth of her devotion and the strength of her faith. This vow, although extremely serious, reveals the intensity of Hannah's desire to honor God and serve Him wholeheartedly. The dedication of a child to God was a significant event. It was a public commitment that separated that child from ordinary life to serve directly in the temple. As Hannah prayed, the priest Eli observed her. He noticed her fervent gestures, but since her lips did not seem to be moving, he assumed that she was drunk. This misunderstanding highlights the intensity of Hannah's prayer. She was so absorbed and focused that she forgot about everything else. When Eli confronted her, thinking it was necessary to correct her behavior, Hannah explained to him that her silence was part of her prayer. She told him about her pain, her vow, and her unwavering belief in God's response. Eli listened attentively and realized that he had been wrong. He understood the purity of Hannah's intentions and the genuineness of her faith. This scene demonstrates the importance of listening and understanding before judging. Eli's initial misconception reflects the human tendency to rush to conclusions without fully comprehending the motives and emotions of others. As time went on, Hannah's determination to fulfill her vow only grew stronger. She promised that if God gave her a son, she would dedicate him to the Lord's service. Her faith told her that her prayer would eventually be answered, and that she would hold her long-awaited son in her arms. When the moment finally arrived, Hannah experienced the indescribable joy of motherhood. Her heart overflowed with happiness, gratitude, and love. But at the same time, she was reminded of the vow she had made to God. With unwavering commitment, she decided to fulfill her promise. This demonstrates the importance of integrity and faithfulness to one's commitments. Despite the emotional conflict between wanting to keep her son by her side and fulfilling her vow, Hannah chose to honor her commitment to God. After Samuel's birth, Hannah faithfully fulfilled her promise and took him to the sanctuary in Shiloh. Surrendering her son to Eli must have been an extremely painful decision, but she carried it out with firmness. It was a testament to her faith and her dedication to God. Her faith in God's response to her prayer gave her the strength to fulfill her vow. It was a demonstration of submission to divine will and a reflection of her deep love for God. At that moment, she knew that Samuel was destined for a great mission in the Lord's service. When Hannah handed Samuel over to Eli, she did not do so silently. She burst into a joyful song, praising God for hearing her prayer and answering her plea. This song, known as Hannah's Song or the Song of Praise, is a powerful declaration of faith, gratitude, and prophecy. Through her song, Hannah expressed her joy and thanked God for fulfilling his promise. She declared that God had made her happy and had brought joy to her heart. At the same time, she prophesied future events, including the downfall of the arrogant and the exaltation of the humble. This part of the story is particularly relevant because it showcases the depth of Hannah's faith and her ability to see beyond her immediate circumstances. Even in the midst of a profound personal change, she was able to raise her voice in praise and predict future events. But the story doesn't end there. Hannah's journey continued. And in the following verses, we learn that the Lord blessed her again. After fulfilling her vow and Samuel began his service at the sanctuary, Hannah's life took an unexpected turn. God blessed her with more children, 3 more sons, and 2 daughters. This unexpected multiplication of blessings was a reward for her faithfulness, her unwavering faith, and her willingness to obey God's will. The fact that God remembered her and blessed her again shows his mercy, his faithfulness, and his ability to transform situations. After Hannah gave birth to Samuel, her relationship with God strengthened even more. They were united by a bond of gratitude, faith, and mutual commitment. Hannah's story serves as an inspiration, teaching us valuable lessons about faith, perseverance, and obedience. It reminds us that no matter how difficult the situation may seem, we should never stop believing in God's power to intervene and transform our lives. Hannah's journey began with pain and despair, but ended with joy, gratitude, and overflowing blessings. Her story is a testament to the transformative power of faith and action. The story of Hannah, the mother of Samuel, is not just a story of the past. It has echoes in our lives today. It reminds us that faith in God can move mountains, that perseverance in prayer is necessary, and that obedience to his will leads to true fulfillment. May Hannah's story inspire us to trust in God's promises, to persevere in difficult times, and to live lives dedicated to serving him. Before we close, let us take a few moments to reflect on some of the aspects that make Hannah's story so captivating. First, her unwavering faith. Despite years of disappointment and discouragement, Hannah never gave up on her faith in God. She believed that he could hear her prayers and answer her pleas, even if it seemed impossible. Second, her determination. Hannah was a woman who knew what she wanted and went after it with determination. She did not allow her infertility to define her. Instead, she sought a solution and did not rest until she achieved her goal. Third, her humility. Hannah understood her limitations and didn't hesitate to ask for help. She was willing to listen to advice and learn from those around her, recognizing that she couldn't do everything alone. Fourth, her resilience. The path to motherhood was not easy for Hannah. She faced countless obstacles and setbacks, but she never gave up. She learned to get back up after each fall and keep moving forward. Fifth, her gratitude. Once Hannah achieved her goal, she didn't forget to give thanks to God. She understood that her success was due to divine intervention and celebrated it with joy and humility. If you've reached this point in the video, I invite you to share your thoughts. What aspects of Hannah's story inspire you the most? What lessons have you learned from her life? Write your comments below. And if this video has touched your heart, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining me on this journey through faith and inspiration. God bless you abundantly and accompany you always. See you in the next video.